We're recording now.
Okay, great.
Thanks everyone for bearing with us. It's always technical issues, one way or the other. Kathy Pittman is taking notes for us today. Thank you, Kathy. Welcome again to our March 26th, our March Chapter Presidents and Advisors monthly meeting. We have a lengthy, I wouldn't say lengthy, but we have a hefty agenda today. And we're going to try and keep it to 1 hour to be cognizant of your time. And we'll just dive into it. The slides are flipping faster than I can talk. So we've had several comments or questions come through in the last month since we last met of people still weren't sure of who to go to or contact for what, now that we have 3 people within the state office. And so we just wanted to bring this up as a reminder, refresher, everything's still new to us too. And so it doesn't hurt to put this in front of all of us again, to remember roles and who to go to for different questions. Again, on the left-hand side of this slide, the website is kind of the one-stop first go-to for several of the things listed there. Hannah would be the next person to go to for things like training, chapter training resources, brand and logo questions, including starting the process for approving your brand and logo use at your local chapter level, and other chapter to state office communications. And then myself and Mary Pearl see us for a chapter management issue, which includes discipline, action, or an incident report, and then advanced policy questions that aren't covered through our policies and procedures documents, information on the website, and questions that Hannah can answer or hasn't been able to answer for you. We also have our VMS help desk as another resource for all things VMS. And then AgriLife first call for a chapter website issue. And then Hannah and Mary Pearl, is there anything else you wanted to add to in this respect?
No, and we'll have something like this on our website. It's been in the back of our minds to put something like this to help keep this content fresh for you guys on who do you go to for what. So we'll have that on the website hopefully within the next month or so.
Okay.
On 2024 planning, I can do this. I also, sorry for background noise, y'all. I have some repair folks here at the house today, so I'm trying to stay muted more than I normally do. On our 2024 planning, we've got some big plans and big activities coming up. I'm going to let Hannah take over on the next couple of slides.
So as we mentioned in the last month's meeting, we are doing a training director roundtable. Our goal with this is to understand how you are currently conducting your new member trainings, how you format them schedule-wise, what things you provide for new members, what units you teach in the classroom versus in the field, that sort of thing. So we are having you should have gotten the email this morning, but we're having that on April 3rd at 10 a.m. This is open to all of the chapter presidents and chapter training directors, so y'all are all on that email list. And don't worry if you can't make it, it will be recorded and added to our website, so you can go back and watch that if you missed it, and then email me with any questions or comments that you have after watching the recording. And the discussion is really going to be around formatting the survey so that we can get you the resources that you want from it. So it'll talk about what the goals are, development and questions, what resources we can make from it, and then just a general timeline of how it will be presented. And yes, that is Central Time. I realized I forgot to add that in the email, but yes, that's 10 a.m. Central Time. If you want to go to the next slide. So this is just, again, to kind of get your gears turning before we get to the survey. But these are some of the general topics we'll talk about for the survey questions: formatting, cost for new members, both for the training and for their regular dues, how you format the classroom and field sessions, a schedule or a syllabus, and what topics to typically teach and when. And then on the next slide, what you can get out of it, like what we can then provide you with after this survey. So a master list of speakers from the different chapters and who they use for different units, what other kind of materials would benefit you, maybe some kind of frequently asked question document, something along those lines, and then just any ideas that you have for collaborating with chapters that are in your surrounding area. So that's just to get your gears turning before the event. Remember, that's April 3rd at 10 a.m. Central Time. Yes.
Another survey, another email that you will see from us at the state office, another project that we're working on. We talked about it last time, is we are working on updating our statewide curriculum. We last published our curriculum in 2016. We started that editing and republishing process in 2014. It was a 2-year process to update our curriculum at that time. We anticipate being a multi-year project again, but it is time to print a second edition of our curriculum. There are updates and edits to the content, and additional resources for the book that are missing that we need to add as well. With this project, we're seeking some input from you as Master Naturalist members, not just as leaders, but as members. So we'll share it out to the entire statewide network, and it'll help us learn how the book's being used, as well as how we can best update that curriculum material to meet your chapter, and to meet those resource needs. And then, because you guys are so intimately familiar with the curriculum, a second survey link is going to be in that email. That has not hit your inbox yet, but that second survey link will help us to collect errors. We have been, as you do, as soon as you press print, you find those 3 missing commas and those 40 misspelled words. We have those, and we've been logging those. I've got tabs on my book of everywhere that I have seen those, and we've been sending them into the A&M press office. But if there are more that you have that you found, we'll also be collecting those error content locations with y'all as well.
And just to address this question again in this meeting, because we did receive it the last time too. So Mary Pearl mentioned that there are some updates that need to be made to the current curriculum. Those are not substantive updates. So the updates that we're making to the existing text there are things, obviously things have changed over the last, 10 years. Some species have been reclassified, or some species names have changed. So it's not things that are going to change what we teach through the curriculum or what the curriculum teaches, just like some of those updates, those what I would consider minor updates, smaller updates that need to be made because of the age of the unit.
Yeah, thank you for clarifying. So that'll be coming out, and will be a multi-year project. We will be keeping you guys updated as we are updated, but do anticipate that this will take time for us to get to that point with our curriculum. On the next slide, we have our pins ordering information. I had some more questions come in about this. Folks are getting around to ordering recertification pins for some of their members. As a reminder, our recertification pins and smaller hour milestone pins are all on our AgriLife Learn store. In order to be able to purchase those, and they're free, but in order to be able to order those, you have to have an entitled account, which means that your account has to be able to be given permission to view those pins. And we have a whole process that we sent out about those. Kathy in the chat says that pin order was easy and came in a couple days. So if you have not yet set up that account, you have not yet ordered any pins in 2024 with this new system, please let me know and I will send you that set of instructions to set up an account. All of those are available on the AgriLife, all of those listed in that first bullet are available in AgriLife Learn, but only for those designated accounts. They're not publicly available for purchase or for ordering. The second bullet there, any 4,000 hour or above pin, those get ordered through a form that is still standard on our website. It's what we've been using for the last couple of years, and Michelle personally fulfills those orders on a monthly basis. And so that is that second bullet and link there.
And I have a small update on that also. So thanks to the North Texas chapter that reminded me of this. There was a period in around summer last year when I ordered the 4,000 hour pins, and there was a piece of the awards package that wasn't available at that time. And so I have the list of people that I think it's the certificates that were needed. So I will be going back in. I have to purchase those separately from everything else, any other order that I do. And I will be purchasing the certificates for these people who only got the pin, the Presidential Volunteer Service Award pin at that time. So chapters, if you're a chapter that you don't need to reconnect with me on that, I have the list of people that affects and the chapters that it affects, and I'll be ordering those in the next week.
And I like to see the chat sharing and the sharing of information in the chat about how you award pins and when you disseminate them. That is part of what this meeting is for, is to share that type of idea generating.
And then Aaron has a question in the chat about, is there anything else we need to do for the 4,000 award to have it announced at the annual meeting? So couple of things with that, Aaron. One, if you can make sure that at your VMS administrator at your local chapter level is marking, or your membership person is marking when that person receives the pin in VMS. And then the thing with the annual meeting is we list the people who are attending the annual meeting and have received the award in that year. So just kind of two notes on that 4,000 hour item and receiving it at the annual, or being honored with it or for it at the annual meeting.
Okay, great. Again, this is the screen that you will see if you are logged in. If you are logged into your account, to be able to have those pins available for viewing. And you will need to search Master Naturalist pins. Hannah, will you do this one?
Yeah, so this is our list of our TMN Tuesdays that we have still coming up in April. It's a very exciting one, of course, because it's the virtual volunteer fair, and you'll get to see a little bit more details about that on the next slide. But as always, if you have any topics that you're interested in hearing, email us and let us know something that you'd be interested in seeing. But it's the second Tuesday of each month, about an hour usually, and you can either watch it live or they are recorded and then will be on our website. And just make sure you let your chapters know that they do get recorded, and so if they miss it, it's no worry because it will be up on our website.
I'm going to have to step away for just a second, Michelle. I'm so sorry. The AC folks are here and they're replacing the AC unit, and that's very necessary, y'all. Hannah, do you have access to this slide? Can you pick up this slide deck where we're at?
But you're sharing you're sharing.
Yeah, she can share.
Let me get to that.
Oh, hold on. Let me make her a presenter. Y'all are getting the gamut of
technical
stress
issues,
today.
AC repair issues. Y'all, this is the month that we're having.
This is life. Okay, presenter privileges are coming over. Yeah, and to make matters worse, I'm out of state at a conference this week.
Oh, it started me at the beginning. I wanted to go fast. Y'all too.
Next one, I think. Oh, one more.
Has to think about every time.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
There. Okay, so
So, yeah, go on.
coming up next week is our virtual volunteer fair, our April 9th. In this one, we have about 9 presentations that will be presented during that virtual volunteer fair. The entire fair runs from 10 a.m. to 1:15 p.m. We just got the information out about the agenda and project descriptions, virtual project descriptions here recently. I think it went out this morning. So um, this is a come and go event. Come to the presentations you're interested and go as you come in and out as the topics come up. We will keep on time. Presentations are about 15 minutes in length, with some Q&A, including the Q&A that will be moderated within that time length, that presentation's time length. And then after, we also will be recording the event. So the recording will be available as well. This is serving as our TMN Tuesday for April. And also, as a reminder again, next week is, or April 9th is just prior to our National Volunteer Week. And April is also International Volunteer Month. So celebrating all things volunteer in April, and the virtual volunteer fair being one of those things. So as you can see here, we have the agenda. Some virtual projects are repeats, and then we have some new ones too. And okay, some frequently asked questions we get from about TMN Tuesdays. So we typically get so we do this event every year. 2023 TMN Tuesdays, are they available for 2024 hours? And no, the TMN Tuesdays that we're presenting within that year, that's what their hours are. Their hours are available in that year. So, and I believe that question is asking about AT. So this year's 2024 virtual volunteer fair will count for 2024 hours. If you go back and watch 2023's, that's just information for information's sake and on your own time. Do I have to be a master naturalist to attend the TMN Tuesdays? Again, this is our virtual volunteer fair. The TMN and it is serving as our TMN Tuesday for April, and you don't have to be a master naturalist to attend the TMN Tuesdays, but the April virtual volunteer fair will be very geared toward our Texas master naturalists. So the public might be attending, but it is intended for, this one specifically is intended for our Texas master naturalist volunteers. They won't be kicked off, but it may not be as relevant to them if they're not a master naturalist. And then I'm not going to go over the rest of these in detail because these are the typical TMN Tuesday FAQs we get for all of our TMN Tuesdays events. And the April event is just a little bit different, being that it's our virtual volunteer affair. So we'll have some FAQs that we'll present at the beginning of the virtual volunteer fair on Tuesday. That Tuesday.
And those are actually all on the website right now as well.
The agenda that you saw on the last slide is also on the website. So if you didn't get to, hold your phone in front of the screen and get a picture, don't worry, just go to our website and it's up there.
And Erin, I see your question in the chat. We'll cover that. We do have a slide later on the presentation about the Tech Tuesdays, which is a little bit different caveat. So we'll cover that when we get to that slide. Okay, and then as far as other TMN Tuesdays coming up, we want to hear from you. What topics would help your members become a better volunteer in that topic area? And let us know. So we're still looking for We have a lot of our calendar filled out for 2024 and the remainder of 2024, but we always need your input and feedback on that as well. Hannah, you want to cover training class info?
Sure. This is for us to put on our state website. So anyone who is looking to join the Master Naturalist program, they usually get directed to our website first, and then through that find your chapter websites. And so we like to have this resource up for them where they can go and have a kind of a one-stop shop for any 2024 trainings. So if you have any coming up, that link at the bottom is where you can find a form where you can fill out that information, and then we will add that to that blog post on our site.
Okay, and as we mentioned, April is a really busy month. I mentioned earlier that April is National Volunteer Recognition Month. We have April 3rd next week. Coming up is our Training Director Roundtable that Hannah mentioned earlier in the presentation. April 8th is that total solar eclipse. If you happen to be one of the chapters within that band going across Texas. April 9th, the following day, is our virtual volunteer fair. Monday, April 22nd is Earth Day, but as Master Naturalists, every day is Earth Day for us. But we hope you celebrate in your local communities and show your local community what you do as a Master Naturalist every day, not just Earth Day. April 14th through the 20th is National Volunteer Week, and we'll have some more information coming out about that. But we hope you take this opportunity for National Volunteer Week to share with your chapter and with your communities about what you do, what your chapters do in the local community, and use National Volunteer Week as a opportunity to promote your chapter and all the change that you're making in your communities on behalf of the Master Naturalist program. We'll have some social media that we'll be pushing out, and we'd love for you to share it. We'd love to share things that you're doing too from your social media accounts. So please use that week as a week to celebrate and promote yourselves. And then April 26th through April 29th is our City Nature Challenge. Let's help get Texas at the top of all those categories for City Nature Challenge. And then April 30th through May 5th is the identification period. So as those of you who are signed up to help as identifiers for the City Nature Challenge, we could really use a lot of help there. Or our Texas Nature Trackers team could really use a lot of help there for helping to identify species that have been uploaded.
And then jumping all the way from April to October, our Master Naturalist annual meeting. We are in the planning phases for our conference. Please save those dates, October 24th through the 27th, as you are planning your fall training class, fall events, any of your activities in October. Please be aware of that week. Maybe block that whole week off on your chapter calendar so that you're giving your members a chance to attend the event.
So one of the questions we also get with the annual meeting is, can those in your training attend? And absolutely, this is a great opportunity for them to get their advanced training component in. It's a great opportunity for them to use different sessions at the annual meeting as makeups to any sessions they may have missed. So think of that when you're planning your fall training events. Just plan around that date if you can. Sorry to interrupt.
So our annual meeting planning is underway right now. As mentioned, this is our timeline. As we get closer, within the next couple of months, you guys will see more content. You have seen this slide already, but this is the timeline that we hold pretty true to with our annual meeting launch and release of information. We've got a call for proposals that will be going out here shortly, and then the deadline for that is mid-May. Usually gets pushed until later in May, with the plan to launch our agenda, registration costs, all of the registration information. We'll launch that information in July to give you a full month to be able to review, read, highlight your agenda, get ready for registration, which always opens the first week of August. So it'll be that first week of August again is our goal, with early registration ending at the end of August, and then regular registration ending September 20th this year, and that varies every year just slightly. We'll have our contests opening here shortly, and then we'll have that deadline of September 15th, as we've had over the last several years as well. And then our TMN Tuesday for October is our project fair, one of our 4 contests, and more information will be coming out so that y'all can get ready for that. As you are thinking about all the wonderful, great things on your calendar right now that your chapter is doing, think about nominating one of those for a chapter project, for our chapter project fair in October. Chapter project fair is an opportunity for you to highlight what you think your chapter is doing well, a new project, an innovative idea, a new way of working with your community, and is a great way to share and promote that amongst all of our chapters, and then get recognized for it as well. So more information on our annual meeting will be forthcoming. That those 2 little slides in the slide deck will get added to as we get closer to that. The next couple of slides. Oh, okay, there we go. The next couple of slides that we've got here focus in on the Junior Master Naturalist program and projects. This has been a question that we've been getting asked more and more frequently, as chapters are really hearing from their audience, hearing from their community, and asking us for more resources for the development or for the redevelopment of a youth program within their local area. We are going to have a website dedicated to sharing this content. It's not live yet, but it will be live shortly, and that's that link at the bottom there. So this is written in FAQ style format. Is there a statewide Junior Master Naturalist program? No, we do not have a statewide program due to a lack of funding. Y'all, it took pulling every string that we had to get a 3rd person, Hannah, on board, and we're running at capacity always and forever. But we do not have a statewide program at this point. However, we do have a number of chapters who have local Junior Master Naturalist projects. And those local chapters that have projects have been willing to share their resources, their information through roundtables, through surveys, through a number of different ways. So the second question on that slide asks, which chapters have a Junior Master Naturalist project and who can I contact? We've been working on that list for a while. I've got a list started and we'll be adding to it with more resources, and then getting that list of chapters who have junior projects or youth outreach education event projects in their chapters, as well as contact information for those chapters for resource sharing. So that'll be added to our chapter or to our website within the next couple of months as we build that stuff out. So it'll be a rolling resource that we'll be adding to. So what is the history of the Junior Master Naturalist interest? Since day one, our program, the Adult Master Naturalist program, has had the interest from you, the volunteers, and from our state office in developing a youth-facing program. However, as Michelle just put into our chat here, our current funding structure for our Adult Master Naturalist program does not allow the development or the creation of youth programming. So we have worked on a couple of different ways to tackle the Junior Master Naturalist conundrum over the last 25 years, including visiting sabbatical professor who built a curriculum resource drive. And Michelle, that predated me. That was probably 20 years ago, 15 years ago. We have had interns who have built resource toolboxes. We have contracted folks to write program proposals We've had formal surveys done. We've had grant letter writing programs when, or not a program, but a grant letter writing when funding opportunities were available. We've had annual meeting roundtables, and we'll continue to have annual meeting roundtables. So we have these resources and this collection of information, but as you can hear, we have a lot, and there isn't a lot of consistency across our development of this program, or this development of this idea of a youth master naturalist project. And our chapters have a variety of different engagement levels with youth at different age groups. And so the goal of this slide was to let you guys know that we're all over the place. Our youth focus is all over the place. And so Hannah, if you'll go to the next slide, one of our goals in wanting to move towards a formally established junior master naturalist program is to build that consistency, is to look at establishing a consistency for the program, taking all of these resources, that history, these ideas, these concepts, and putting them into a consistent program through branding. We have chapters that are running projects that are being called 1,000 different things and are in 1,000 different directions. We have chapters who have huge youth programs or projects, and then they fall apart when a person leaves or moves on to a different chapter or retires from their chapter. So there is a need to develop a statewide master naturalist program to build that sustainable resource, to develop additional resources for you as chapters, including guidelines, curriculum, and youth protection standards. And then the big red flag that Michelle and I wave every single time we start talking about youth programming is developing programs for youth is different. That is something that we are not equipped to do at our adult program office right now. That takes having somebody that knows about liability considerations for youth programming, safety resources, youth education programming topics. There's so much here that we have to dive into. So going to the next one. So this is something that we are looking at, and there is a next steps to this, but it is not a tomorrow next steps. I want to stress that. I got you excited for a reason. This is not something that we can click a button and do a junior program tomorrow or within the next year. We've been working on this for 25 years now, but we've got to really put effort into creating developing resources for this program, and that's going to take funding. And so Michelle and I have been kind of chipping away at that over the last 10 years that I've been here, trying to find ways that we can develop financial resources, such as the endowment program that we developed 7 years ago, or seeking other support opportunities, other financial resources, grant programs, development opportunities, so on, that we could look at to help build this program, how it needs to be and how it should be built for the sake of the name Junior Master Naturalist. So Rosalia, you spurred this question, and I'm so glad that you're on. You are okay to develop your own local junior master naturalist project. Please be careful in that terminology. As you are working with a youth project, please be cognizant of using that word project, not program. A program is a statewide effort. A program means that there is structure and funding and resources and all of these considerations that we've talked about. At your local chapter, you can have a youth project, call it a junior master naturalist project. That's great. And that'll bring us one step closer when we do have a statewide program that we can bring all of those resources together. Michelle, did I cover that?
There was one question in the chat about if we could share a list of chapters having projects. And we would need to update that list again, as Mary Pearl mentioned. Those chapter junior master naturalist projects ebb and flow and move and change with the different people who are involved with them at the chapter level. So we do need to collect that information from our chapters again. And so I can see that as being as an upcoming state state office project. So be looking for that in the future. Just us getting some more information, gathering more information from our chapters on what they are doing for junior master naturalist projects currently.
And Susan has identified herself as the squirrel in this photo as the chapter president, being what's the word when birds are attacking squirrels? There's a word for it.
Yeah,
Starts with an N.
not heckled.
It's not mobbing. Thank you.
Yes.
Yes. So y'all are being mobbed by your chapter
Same,
member.
Susan, same. We feel it at the state office too.
So in the last couple of slides that we have for you guys today, I realize that we're getting closer to the time here. We've got just some resources that we always have at the end of our chapter presidents meetings. Our state website is our kitchen sink. We try to keep that updated as much as possible with all of our information. We're doing a better job at using our events calendar. And of course, our email listserv is the best place to get your members signed up for state office blasts as we get closer to the annual meeting, and we've got needs for them to have information directly from us quickly.
One quick note on the email listserv. I just noticed we still have the old link in there. It's now under the 4 chapters tab as its own page. So going to the contact page won't work anymore. It's now under 4 chapters. Just wanted to make that note real quick.
Yep, there it is right there. We do have a Tech Tuesday scheduled for next week. This is offered by our AgriLife Extension team. They will be, I need to get an email out from them. Need to get an email from them to send out to you guys with sign up information, but this is the first Tuesday of the month, just an opportunity for your webmasters or anybody from your chapter to learn a little bit more about WordPress and some tips and tricks on developing and maintaining your chapter website.
And just to come back to a question that was asked earlier in the chat about whether or not those, if you can go back to that slide, those Tech Tuesdays offered by AgriLife Extension were appropriate or they were available as advanced training. So for the people who manage your chapter website using WordPress, yes, that would be appropriate advanced training for those people. Again, it's not ideal advanced training for come one, come all, but for those managing the chapter website at your chapter level, this would be great advanced training for them. I promised a monthly VMS updates, and not a whole lot has changed since the last time I visited with you about the VMS update. We are still readying fields, so they're readying fields. So how the company describes it is we're packing to move. And so, which we're packing to be upgraded and moved to a new home. And so we're still going through the process of would I pack this to move? So just think of it as if you're moving to a new home and you have a figurine that worked in your current home. It may not go with the decor in your upcoming new home. That's the process we're still going through right now. We're still readying fields to be copied over. If you think about it, or if you've been with the program for a long time, we've had this system for 10 years. There are a lot of advancements that have taken place in the system, but not in our current account. So we're packing our old account to move to a new house, and that new house is being built or in the process of finishing building. So we're in the process of picking out paint and trim, to use that analogy. So not a lot has changed in the last month. We have noticed a couple of things may not have worked on the administrators, your local administrators areas as normal in the past. And if those continue, we have reported them to the company's help desk. And if those continue, if your administrators are still seeing things that are not normal, let us know. Put in a help ticket at the VMS help desk. Again, we have not changed systems yet, so everything we are still proceeding as normal with entering your hours. As an end user, there really shouldn't be anything that you're seeing being changed at this time. The other thing is I do need to put another plea out to chapters. Please, again, check or if you haven't before, check the panels that you received at the Master Naturalist annual meeting in October, or those that you were, if you were shipped panels by me, you have, if I was able to send you a complete set, you have a complete set. Those of you who picked up the displays at the annual meeting, please check your panels. You should have 2 different panels in your set. And one we call the Become panel, which is the panel that you see on the left. It starts with that blue Become A. And then the other is the Explore panel, which is the one you see at the right. So if, as chapters, if you could still check the panels, the displays that you picked up at the annual meeting, and let me know if you have doubles or you're still needing one or the other. And then just send me a note and we can proceed accordingly.
This is an update from last month. I picked up our order of restock for all of our AgriLife Learn Master Naturalist gear, hats, patches, visors, shirts, polos, a whole bunch of stuff, Columbia stuff, long sleeve, short sleeve, everything. Those are all back. I dropped them off at the warehouse on Thursday last week. They are putting them in stock, and so those will be showing up on inventory. So as you are wrapping up your training class and getting ready to make an order, those will be available for viewing and for purchase now. An update on our license plate, as we will do every time that we have a president's meeting. Our quarterly report at the bottom is highlighted. Our license plate is still available, is always available for purchase. I went to a Master Naturalist event, what was it, Friday, and saw 4 cars in a line with dragonflies, and it was beautiful. It just looked like, I was where I was supposed to be. So it's a great way to recognize your membership in the program, your support for the Master Naturalist program, but it also provides that financial support back to our state office. And our quarterly report at the bottom there, we have 647 total sold as of the end of Q1 of 2024. Once we get to 800 plates sold, that then generates the refund of our initial deposit. So we had to make an initial deposit on the plate of $8,000. At 800 plates sold, they will refund us that full $8,000, which is a great input back into that account. Yep, and so here's some pictures. I haven't changed these around in a while. I need to add some of the cute new ones that I saw out and about. And then our endowment, we talked about the endowment just briefly when we mentioned the Junior Master Naturalist program idea earlier, but this endowment was started in 2016 as a way to secure additional sustainable funding for the Master Naturalist program, in addition to the funding that we have from our U.S. Fish and Wildlife program that supports our adult program. This is an opportunity for us to support additional resources within the Master Naturalist community. And so that Endowment, which is housed within the TAMU Foundation, currently sits at about $125,000, and that's just a snowball that we're letting roll down the hill right now. And the more that we can invest into the endowment through individual or chapter gifts, employer gift matching, or even estate planning, the more that endowment develops, the larger that snowball becomes to help, again, for the future of the Master Naturalist program. So Michelle has 3 questions that she had in her inbox that she's going to talk to you about. And then Michelle, we actually have one more question that we're going to add to that.
Okay, so a couple of questions when I sent out over the past month that we received back that people have asked to be kind of covered in these president's meetings. One chapter, I think it was Susan Walther, you had asked about what chapters have been successful with obtaining a Texas Parks and Wildlife Co-op grant. And so, Susan, if you would like to put your email address in the chat, and people, I don't know if we only have about 10 more minutes left for this meeting, so I don't know if we have a ton of time to let chapters come off mic and tell you about the process. But if you're able to share your email for them to share information with you, I'm sure that would be a huge help. The other item we have received a few questions on is the bat monitoring project that Craig presented in January. Was that January or February? As a TMN Tuesday or a special TMN Tuesday. That statewide bat project that Craig is organizing and will be kicking off soon. The question was, how would we set that up? How should chapters or volunteers in chapters report to that project at the local level? And so what I'm going to do is set up ultimately chapters will need to set up the project opportunity at their local chapter level within VMS. You'll need your VMS administrator to assist with that. But what I'm going to do is write up a basic description for that project, so it covers the gamut of what volunteers working on that project should be doing or should be mentioning in their logbook drop down in their entries, so that the project description really covers the whole gamut of what volunteers are doing in that project. So we will have kind of the bare bones, the basics for the VMS administrators to enter in for the project opportunity when that project does get kicked off. And then the last, at the end of our president's meeting in February, there was a question that came in from a chapter that was a specific scenario they were asking about of if volunteers or people, master naturalists, are being paid to do a service, should they also report that service as volunteer service hours? And that is it for the Master Naturalist program. That is a very specific no for our program. So as a volunteer, if you're being paid to do anything in the Master Naturalist program, it's not volunteer service hours. The case that this chapter had asked about was very different and very specific to a couple of their partners that they involved in their program, and they were also Master Naturalist volunteers. So what I'm trying to say is, if these based on the scenarios, there are a lot of if-thens in some of these scenarios. So if you're a chapter that has a question about a volunteer being paid or an employee who's doing some work in the Master Naturalist realm of things or as a Master Naturalist, but they also do the same work professionally. If you have questions about that and whether or not they should be reporting hours or where or if, just call our office. There's not a blanket statement I can make because there are so many if-then scenarios depending on the partnership and the person. But as probably the general statement that I can make is that as a master naturalist volunteer, none of our volunteers can be paid to conduct master naturalist volunteer service. Are there any questions on that?
I have the fourth question, if there's no more questions to that question. A question came up in chat, Michelle, earlier about the Tech Tuesdays that AgriLife is offering. The VMS team has asked you to answer this on the call if you're willing, how that gets logged, or if we are creating a statewide opportunity, advanced training category.
Yeah, and I messaged back in the chat that I was going to visit with the VMS team about that.
Okay. I missed that
Being
answer.
that it's
So
advanced training, it's different than service. So yeah, I'll visit with them at my next meeting with them.
okay. Okay, 2 more slides and then we're done, y'all. As always, we have this reminder here. Please don't sign contracts over $5,000 without review and approval of the TMN state office. And then please let us know about grants and awards you win. Tina, I saw in the chat that you put that the Pineywood Lakes received a NIPSOT grant for the Education Outreach Pollinator Gardens. If that is new, please send that to us so that even if it is under $1,000, please send us grants and awards that y'all get. We want to share that, promote that, and yell and scream about that. And that's something that Hannah can help to put out on our social media, that we can help to generate some goodwill and some good publicity for your chapter and our program, as an opportunity for other chapters to look at as well. Specifically, those that are over $5,000, you by our updated guidelines cannot receive those without TMN state office approval, review and approval of those. And then we never leave enough time for this, but if in the last 5 minutes, if there's any other questions that y'all have for other chapter presidents on the call, feel free to drop those in the chat and we'll spend some time on those. Rio Brazos chapter would like to connect with folks that have a training class representative position. They just had somebody take this on and are looking for to see how others use the position.
And for Rio Brazos, I think there's some mention of duties and things like that in the CMA or chapter operating handbook template as well.
Mm-hmm. Hannah, your screen went black, but while we're waiting for any other questions, the reminder that we had on the very last slide is that our April chapter presidents meeting is on April 30th. April 30th.
I have a quick question here on the logging into AgriLearn. I don't know if other chapters are having problems with that.
The AgriLife Learn? Yes, sir.
I tried to use an existing email that I'd already used to order stuff, and it wouldn't let me get in, so I created a new account and tried to log in, and now it sends me a group. It says the group AgriLearn only accept messages from people in its organization, or does not allow senders list, and your email address isn't on the list.
Yes. So Dan, that's an issue that other chapters have come up to. What I've done is I've sent that issue directly to the Wizard of Oz, Joshua Frazier. So if you'll just forward that to me, I'll forward it on to Josh. He is the person behind the screen that does and fixes everything for me for AgriLife Learn.
Okay. I will forward to you.
Perfect.
Hi, this is Erin. I'm sorry I can't text right now. I hate to belabor the point about the Tech Tuesday. but our webmaster wasn't sure how to log his hours. He doesn't want to lose his time after 45 days.
How close is he to the
I-
45 days?
Okay.
Tell him, we can talk about this offline, but how close is he to the 45-day cutoff on that?
Oh, he went to the first Tech Tuesday, so he's probably,
The one last month?
that was at the very, I think that was the second one he's been to. So he's not quite at 30 days yet.
We'll get it before that 45-day mark, for sure.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Any other questions? There was a question in chat about updating your chapter's webpage. That goes through your WordPress login. If you don't have access to that, then I can get you access to that. Okay, Barbara, I can make sure I get that for you. And Tina. Okay, hearing no other questions. If you need access to WordPress, you'll need to email me, Barbara, and Carolyn. I'll send that to y'all. And then Tina, I'm going to give you a call. That's on my to-do list. But any other questions, y'all, I will get this recording posted to the website, as well as the slides. And then again, I believe it was Kathy that was taking notes for us. I'll get those posted as well later this afternoon.
Thanks everyone for your time today.
Absolutely. Thanks, y'all. Anne, are you saying something? Because you're muted.
Yes, Mary Pearl, I wanted to share something with you. On the national news last night, they said that College Station was going to be the first test city in the nation to receive door-to-door medication deliveries by drone.
Oh, wow. How cool.
When they said College Station, I go, oh, really? Yeah.
We'll be looking overhead then.
Yeah, you look and see if you see aspirin flying across your roof line up or something.
There you go. Thank you so
Okay,
much for
all right.
sharing. That's
Bye-bye.
funny. Bye.